Steven Seagal. Under Siege 2.
This, I'm trained for.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. First, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with, I still can't believe, I pinched myself thinking, we interviewed three legendary bad guys. And in the interview, Patrick said it was between him, Vernon Wells, and Brian Thompson, up for like every role they all auditioned for. So that's pretty amazing. And Brian was supposed to be in this week's sequel, Under Siege 2. And of course, I was talking about Patrick Kilpatrick, talking about just a story about his way through Hollywood. He did it his way, and he even has a book, Dying for a Living, Volume 1, upbringing. It's cool behind the scenes stories about people that he worked with in his career. I'll put the link in the notes so you guys can check that out. But I'm so happy. Finally, a Seagal movie, one of our rare opportunities. But before I talk about this weird setting for a movie, a train, I have to introduce you to my partner in this sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Doug. How are you doing?
I'm just really happy. I love Seagal. Like, it's one of those guys. I think out of all those action stars, there's so many that have great movies. But I think what's great about Seagal, he had like that 6-film run that I could watch in a row all the time because they're that good.
They are, I mean, he ruled the cinema, when, like you said, like there's like a 6-film run that he was just, there was no one better. But now I saw this movie so many times. This is the first time I've seen it in a long time. It's not the way I remember. It's really, we'll have to get into it, but it's definitely way different than I remember it to be.
Yes, and we brought back the perfect person. When it comes to kick-ass action movies, there's only one man we can call. We called him when Charles Bronson and his old people friends took out an entire not Warriors gang in Death Wish 3, and then he helped us talk about Eric Roberts in Best of the Best Part 2, fighting an underground, fighting ran by Wayne Newton. Andrew Powers. Andrew,
what's up, dude?
It is great to have you back for this movie. I was thinking about all the action movies that we have on deck, and me and Jamie agreed, like Seagal.
Without a doubt. This I mean, I don't think we could do this review without Andrew. I mean, this has your name written all over
it. That's fantastic. I love it.
So, Andrew, is this your first foray into Under Siege 2?
I have never seen Under Siege 2 Dark Territory before. Under Siege 1, yes. Under Siege 2, never. So it was a great experience.
Did you know there was an Under Siege 2?
No, I didn't own a. I think this was direct to VHS, right?
No, this is in a theater.
It
definitely was
huge
totally
budget, $60 million, and it brought in 100. So it was good enough to like make another one. But at this point, after this movie is when he went into his movies about like the environment, like fighting against oil, people that were taking oil in Alaska. And I forget the name of that. Fire Down Below. Not Fire Down Below.
I think when I watched Fire Down Below, it was the last time I watched a Seagal movie.
That was the Michael Caine one.
I might have thrown it off.
I rewatched it. It came into his part of his career that, like, because we've interviewed so many people that worked with him, both on screen and behind the screen. And that was when he started saying, I'm not going to do the stunts anymore with the cutaways and stuff. But
yeah,
this is it. So
he's known as Mr. Hollywood, right? I mean, everybody loves him.
He is. Lots of friends. But I love his movies. I would not watch his movies. But let's just jump right into it. And again, like you said, remembering this movie, the beginning of this movie almost made me, I remember what the premise was about a satellite, but when you see like a spaceship like a space shuttle going into space. I'm like, what? Where are we?
I thought I was
I thought
watching.
it was in the wrong movie. I thought
So
it
did
was
I.
an
So did I
Armageddon.
because I downloaded it and I'm like, is this the right movie? I mean, I saw his name attached, so I'm like, all right, it's got to be. But like, is this a movie like a DVD movie that wasn't in a theater? Like, what am I watching the wrong movie? Because it was a long time. Like the space, like it looked so not a Seagal movie. Like it really, like I didn't remember it at all, and like I was very confused.
It made me feel very American. I'll tell you that. With the music and the rocket and everything, I just felt very American.
You know what? I wrote that down. I'm like, it was very patriotic with the music, and it was very dramatic. You know, before we meet him,
before we see Casey Ryback. But I love like this era of movies, the way they saw the way computers look to everyone is like the silliest thing. The fact that it's like, I wrote down, it reminded me of a bad laser disc, science video on satellites that they would show wheel the card in during like elementary school. It just looked, I don't know, for a $60 million budget, I don't know where it was spent, but it was not on the technology parts of the movie that we saw.
Wait, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking you through the MS-DOS command prompt right now.
That's what it looked like Oregon Trail, or like, it looked like those kind of like computer games. That's what the computer screen looked like.
Yeah. Oh, dude. And then how about the fact that the first person we really see in the movie is Red Foreman? I should know his real name because he's in.
Oh my God! When Red Foreman went through that doorway, I could have sworn he was going to put his foot up someone's ass. I could have sworn, and when he didn't, I was so disappointed.
How about the fact that he was walking with two other people and only the scanner touched his body? Like, I don't know if they have that technology now, but just the fact that it was like this scanner that went from his head to his toes, and then the door opened up for everyone. So. Well,
I mean, NASA people are supposed to be the smartest people out there. Oh. And this NASA branch, I guess, or this NASA,
it's Aflac.
A bunch of idiots. Yeah, but I think they're NASA, like it's like a take on NASA. I mean, they're dumb. Like they're clueless throughout the whole movie. I don't know. They didn't seem like the right NASA people.
It was like the crew in Armageddon. It was like a ragtag bunch they threw together, which the one guy, I don't know his name, but I think what I'm talking about, because the first time we see him test the satellite, he thinks, not like, hey, let's zoom in on maybe a baseball stadium. Let's zoom in on an aquarium. No, let's zoom in on a naked girl tanning. And then her boobs. We saw boobs in the first 5 minutes.
So that's what hooked me. I'll have to tell you.
But as professionals, one, I'm assuming it's illegal using that for that purpose. And two, you had a female worker there. That's sexual harassment, like right in front of her. I mean, what? Blatant. And even it looked like even the generals were looking like they were like, like some of them, like, yeah. By the way, you compared it to Armageddon. I would compare it more to Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. But no, just the fact that the first thing they thought of, I wonder if they did this movie, they're like, hey man, we got to get boobs in this movie. And they couldn't throw it in. For some reason, maybe they forgot a boob scene. They're like, throw it in right here.
It was like the first 5 minutes too.
I know.
Like, it was
and really, I mean, like I always say, it's necessary, but totally unnecessary. Like for movie purposes, it's totally unnecessary. Like the scene meant nothing to the film at all.
And what was Red's reaction? Like he was like, "This is terrible." Like now we know that their satellite can dig in this close. Like it was like a perfect Red Foreman response. Like he totally ignored the tits on the screen. He was just like, "Oh my God, the technology is so great."
And then we have like the two captains who are responsible, and then they kind of talk about the guy that the main villain later just a little bit. But how about the other guy who seems like Red's, like maybe it's like Red, the other guy that was
the chain smoker, the guy that's smoking the whole time,
the guy who kind of looked like Harvey Firestein's brother,
Breaker, right? Breaker, Tom Breaker.
He literally like
a walking
smokes.
HR nightmare.
Oh, he is. I mean, but he's literally smoking a cigarette like nonstop throughout the whole movie.
And he goes, "Want to grab a drink and check out the air show?" Wow, what a great pickup line, bud.
Now, was that the woman in Loaded Weapon?
Yeah. Oh no, not Loaded Weapon. Hot Shots Part 2.
Hot Shots. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Hot
She's done a
Shots.
ton of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, her face is so recognizable. I just totally forgot, and I was thinking the spoof movie. So yeah, you're right. Hot Shots.
Yeah.
Brenda Backey, I think that was her name, right? Brenda.
She's
is that-
smoking.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
she is. She still looks pretty
Yeah.
good. I thought I was doing research on the movie.
And she did stand up for herself. We'll have to say that. So that
She
an
did.
initial presentation with Breaker, she did stand up for herself. So she denied the advance. That was great. And a great HR video.
That wasn't great. That'd been great HR video. And then I know where you see Seagal pop up with like a remote, like Zach Morrison. He's like, "Hey, so what'd this creep do wrong? Okay, play." Just like, what? And then how about the fact that the first time we see Seagal, okay, so people have seen Under Siege. Okay, they get the whole thing. He was a cook. All right. And they kind of downplayed that in the first one, really. It was just more of the fact, like, oh my God, this guy was labeled as a cook, but he's really like this big time Navy SEAL. This time we hear some really like pumped up like music, exciting, and then we find out he owns a restaurant.
He drives like shit too. I think really did.
That was didn't he have a driver, or was he driving the other?
No,
guy?
It looked like he had a driver. It looked like he came out of the back seat.
Oh, that dude drives like shit because they were like wobbling and weaving all through that alleyway.
Could that entrance been any more dramatic though? Like it was almost like he was waiting for an applause when he stepped out of the car.
And his buddy, I guess his head chef, looked like Chef Boyardee, if Chef Boyardee was a person. And just his whole part throughout the whole movie was funny because even in this, he's like, "Hey, I'm sorry to hear about your brother." It's like, was this the first time that you guys talked like since then? And then he goes, "Man, I really love to have you in the restaurant." And then the fact that the whole premise of this movie is that in order to get California, he owns his restaurant. Seems like he probably has a lot of money. He has a driver. Why is he taking a train? It's the worst experience. Riding a train. I took a train to Indiana, like 4th grade, to visit my mom's friend. Worst summer ever.
Yeah, but this is no ordinary train. And, I'll discuss it further when we get to the train. But yeah, it's no ordinary train.
And then we have the forever annoying Katherine Heigl.
I thought she was more annoying before I saw the movie. She wasn't as bad as I thought. And I think I was thinking more of the daughter from Face Off or like Last Boy Scout. Like those daughters were like really like, except for the first, scene that she meets with Seagal, she wasn't that as annoying as I thought she was going to be.
She just had a lot of teen angst, right? Like that's what it seemed like.
I think the porter was way more annoying than she was.
I like him. He's a good actor. I like him in a lot of different things.
Not this.
But teenage angst, man. He's just like Julie in the Next Karate Kid. Same kind of thing. And the fact that it seemed like she had a pretty good relationship with her uncle, the fact that they were in Colorado, right? It seemed like his restaurant was in Colorado. She was in Colorado. And the fact that he couldn't recognize his
I was going to say, right. Okay. So it's 5 years, right? They haven't seen each other in 5 years.
Yeah, that's not
so she looks like she's probably about 18 years old. She's an older.
She's 16, and we'll get into the creepiness of other people towards her later.
Okay. Well, but she's 16 in real life or 16 in the movie?
16 in the movie.
Okay. She looks like she's older than 16, with that. But my point is, like, in 5 years, she's going to be that unrecognizable that he's like not sure what she looks like.
I know.
I mean, Ed, why hasn't he seen her in 5 years?
The restaurant. It's busy.
I mean, they obviously live close enough that they can meet at the train station.
It's true.
So,
Oh my God.
It was a little weird though. Like he's walking through the train station, checking all the women, and he's like, I don't know. That was really creepy.
Well, he was checking the women because he didn't know. He was looking to see if they were his niece.
But he never asked any of them. Like, right? He wasn't like, "Hey, Sarah." Like he just like I guess he figured like if he saw her, he would know who it was. But he didn't ask anybody.
Well, I don't think he would, because when she went up to him and said Uncle Ryback or whatever is, what she said, he almost looked surprised. Like,
he's like,
so I'm not sure he would have recognized her anyway.
He should have just stood there and maybe like checked his watch and she would come up. But the fact that, like Andrew said, he was just staring at young girls just without saying anything. No words at all, just looking.
Well, let me. I mean, if you're meeting someone, especially you haven't seen in a long time, wouldn't you have a meeting place? They didn't just say like, let's meet at the train station. There's like no. I mean, obviously, there's gonna be a lot of people there. You haven't seen each other. Like, wouldn't it be like, meet me at the booth, meet me at this restaurant? No, just meet me there, and we'll figure it out from there.
That is true. He's not a good planner. Great chef, one of the best chefs, but not a great planner. So then we see a very familiar bad guy. The guy, again, it's crazy when you look at the credits of this movie. If you guys looked at it, how many guys are listed as just mercenaries? And these are like big time bad guys.
I was gonna say,
no.
Who's who of villains in this movie? There's a lot of who's who.
Oh, who was it? Wait. It was what's his
Peter
name?
Green, who plays the villain.
Peter
in The Mask.
Green. So we went from The Mask to Pulp Fiction, and then to Mercenary 1.
I call him not Eric Roberts. He kind of looks like Eric Roberts. The poor man's Eric Roberts.
Eric Roberts, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Peter Green, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
Why? Sorry. Well, why?
You call him the poor man, Eric Roberts.
But why apologize to Eric Roberts?
He's the alter ego of Eric Roberts. The evil version of Eric Roberts.
Wait, the Diesel version?
Diesel, yes. Diesel.
This guy that who was in Pulp Fiction a lot, he has that face that I don't think he could ever play a good guy.
No.
He just has that. He has that creep factor. Again, I apologize if he's listening, but he has a creep factor face.
And then we see the two captains from earlier in the movie. They're meeting together. Man, she is smoke show.
So how long was this train going before they got involved with each other? Because I feel like the train basically just took off. And we're talking about the one from Hot Shots, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the train, I don't think the train was going that long where their like love making day sessions that's gonna be all day long was like in effect. Like they didn't waste any time.
Would you waste any time?
All right, I guess. I mean, at least like let the train go a little bit. Like I feel like it was just like barely leaving the station, and I don't know.
The train did make him wait. She made him wait 5 seconds, right?
Well, they were doing a quick role play.
Yeah,
that is true. Train barely leaves the station, and he enters the station. So then we get again. If you really look at out of any movie, like besides like the Expendables that has like a ton of big name villains in it, as well as the good guys, this movie, you look up and down at the bad guys, it is like unreal. It's really to the point that there are the no name guys that you really don't know at all, but there's so many great bad guys. Even when they get
these are bad guys that could be the main villain in any other movie.
Hell yeah.
It is Mike Pence, right? The the guy with
Everett
the white
McGill.
hair?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of who he looked like.
I thought that was Mike Pence. I really thought this was what he did before he ran for president.
His name is Marcus Penn in the movie.
Oh, that's okay.
Close
Definitely
enough.
Mike Pence.
But yeah, so you have him as the great villain, people under the stairs. He was in Twin Peaks like right around this time.
Chariots of Fire. I think he was in Chariots of Fire.
Oh yeah. And so you get them break into the Colorado Air Base, which there's really no one around. It seems like it's a very important place.
All right. Yeah, we have to talk about this scene right here. Because this is a military base. That it seemed like way too easy to get in there. And it was only two guys that took on the military base.
And they knew the code to get in. They
knew the code. And then it's funny when you watch the video, there's no gate. Like when they open the door of the gate, if you look down, the rest of the fence is not there anymore.
Oh, that's amazing. I love those mess ups.
But it was only two guys that took on a military. How good are these military guys?
They're terrible.
And why don't they have guns? And why don't any of them have guns?
I know. Why do they walk out?
Like the National Guard? Does the National Guard typically have guns? I don't know.
Yeah, but they weren't National Guard, were they?
I could have sworn it said like something on the signpost. I could have sworn it said something guard.
I think it's at like maybe National Base, maybe, but I don't know. Maybe it was a National Guard, but I think they still have guns. And then why would you? I hate when guys walk
search
out
and recovery on it. I remember that. It said search and recovery. So I assumed it was National Guard, but like all the way back, all the way inland, that doesn't make sense.
But yeah, but I will. Whether National Guard can hold a gun or not, I'd be willing to bet if you're going to a base, you're going to have weapons.
Yeah.
You know, like you're gonna definitely have guards there. You're gonna have some kind of weapons. You know, again, why have the lock gate? You know, you're gonna have some kind of guards. And it was way too easy for the two guys just to walk in there with nothing.
I know. And they just lit those guys up. The two guys walked out. They're like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Within seconds, they get shut up. Even the guy, when Everett McGill walks in, and the guy's just sitting there, he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" He just you're like, "What?"
And then he has to use the machine gun to blow up the radio, I guess, or whatever.
Oh, yeah, he just blows up all that. Yeah.
Poor radio didn't do a single thing. Wasn't even it wasn't even telegramming anybody. It was
why'd they have to break a perfectly good radio, right?
Really? Especially in 1995. That was probably worth like $250,000. That little boombox radio thing.
That goes into the budget. That goes $60 million budget.
That's why they didn't have any guns. They spent all the money on the radio.
They're like, so Steven, we're going to put a fake one. We're just going to draw it, paint it, make it look real. No, I want a real one. But no, it's only going to get blown up. Put a real one in there. Okay.
Well, Steven, that means we're going to have to get rid of the fence and just have a gate there and not use any weapons here.
That's fine. Amazing. So amazing. So then again, we get Bobby Morris Chestnut. I know you say you don't like him, but he's one of the best movies ever, I would think. Boys in the Hood, Ricky, and he's had a ton of like sitcoms he's been on over the years. And in this movie, I know he's a little over the top.
A little?
No, I know. The first time we see him, he's hitting on Katherine Heigl. Now, how old do you think he's supposed to be, Bobby?
What he's supposed to be, he's supposed to be 18, but he looks like he's 26.
Yeah.
Am I right?
No, I don't know exactly what his age is. No, I was trying to think of what he could be, because I don't know if an 18-year-old would have a job on it. I don't know how old you have to be, but the fact that he's sitting on this girl who clearly looks a little young within like seconds.
With the second she stepped on there, you know, and like nothing, pretty ballsy, because she came on with Seagal, you know, like he didn't know if that's her father or anything. Like, I mean, like that was pretty like aggressive, you know.
I think she was separated from Seagal at that point, right? Like she was.
No, that was later on.
Ahead.
Oh, wait.
Well, because Seagal grabbed the bag later on. When she almost got to her seat, Seagal grabbed the bag out of his hand. So I think I don't know.
I think they walked on together, but then she walked ahead.
And that's when Bobby, she probably like sort of went to grab her and she flipped him. He flew so far.
Is that move a real move? Like, can you really throw someone by just going like this? Like, all she did was go like this, and he went flying. And he's a big guy, you know. He's, you know, like, so yeah.
Well, the other question is it against the law to assault a train employee?
Oh, it is. That's a federal offense.
Because she literally said, "Grab me," and then she proceeded to beat his ass.
Well, considering that NASA is looking at naked women on a beach, I think laws are kind of lenient in the area they're in. So
that damn Affleck, I don't know. I don't know what those guys are doing.
So here's the part again. So Seagal is supposed to be like the greatest chef, right? One of the best. I'm gonna have to add the clip, maybe right here, but I'll paint the picture for you. He, within seconds of being on this train, he's in the chef's quarters. He's in the kitchen, and he's stirring a batter. Bobby's there looking at him, and he's stirring it. And then I swear, I'm not kidding. That was not an oven. He put it in the microwave.
He did.
And he put it on 15 minutes.
And then he said, it's in God's hands.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, he's just a regular passenger on his train, correct?
Yes. No
So how
one
does he have
knows him.
access to go to the kitchen
Exactly.
in the first place?
Unless they cut out a part when somebody was like, "Oh, it's Casey from Casey's restaurant" or some BS, something. But it made no sense to cut to all these chefs watching him stir the batter. And when because a microwave doesn't, like an oven doesn't go up high. Like he reached up and he goes, in 15 minutes. And I'm like, what just happened?
Now, right before that, remember he told Bobby that was it the bourbon? I think the bourbon was for the cake, and then he proceeds to make the cake, and he sticks it in the microwave. What the fuck?
Yeah, he's doing a lot of work though for a regular trip though, because he bought a ticket like everybody else at the teller. So it's not like, he got a special ticket or they were expecting him. Like he paid like everybody else. So that still doesn't make sense. That why is he doing all this work? And what's the cake for?
You just open up Pandora's box. If there is a cake option on NJ Transit, I'm going to start paying for that. If there's like an extra $5 and I can like use an easy bake oven in the conductor's room or something.
Oh, it might be a urinal cake, bro. I don't know if I would do that on New Jersey.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of scenes in the bathroom. So, I mean, it could be. You're right. Although I did like the cake in the first movie better than this one.
Oh, agreed. But the whole thing behind that Troy Evans told me, really creepy. That he was like, yeah, I'm going to have my buddies come watch this scene. Weird. But okay. So then we get talking about like, again, I would say these guys are like legendary bad guys. A lot of these guys. So the guy from Beverly Hills Cop.
Yep. And he's in Breaking Bad.
Oh, dude. Yeah. And that like a ton of movies. There's like another like 6-7 year run. He is a villain in so many
Every movie. Yep. Absolutely.
And he's in this movie and he is just a regular henchman. I think his name's Henchman 1. And I think he has like a name next to it because they call him a name one time. But the fact that
I was gonna say, I wonder if Seagal had something to do with that he didn't want these names out, like, like give them like any kind of like real like names or like henchman number 1 to make downplay that fact that, listen, I'm Seagal. I'm the only one that's really important in this movie. I don't want you guys to be recognized whatsoever.
Was it the Rick Rude guy?
He's the plane. He was in the front of the train.
Oh no, Rick Rude was later.
Oh,
okay.
The guy with the mustache and the Jerry curl. Yeah. No, but it's weird that usually when there's henchman 1 or man 1 or kid 1, they usually don't have maybe they have one line. Yeah. All these people have like a lot of lines. And the fact that they use a helicopter to stop the train, and I love his line and the way he always delivers it, just like in Beverly Hills Cop. He's like, the conductor's like, what's wrong? He's like, someone's been shot. And he looks around and then he shoots him. Amazing. And he puts his hat on. He even puts the conductor's hat on.
Well, that's my point. Like for like a no-name character that, in the movie, and they have big parts. I mean, they're fighting with Seagal. They're, like they're getting like, I bet you Seagal had some kind of say that he didn't want to give them any kind of recognition. And, because it's his movie. Because he's also I think he's also the producer in the movie.
He was. This is like, I think he did it for a while. Like once he got big, I think he even produced maybe Out for Justice or Hard to Kill. I watched right from that. Once that first movie did great, he's like, I'm going to get as much as I can, which.
Right. Why not?
Smart guy, right? So then from there, we get one of the henchmen. They go on there. Some like random girls crying when they take over the train. And he says, shut that bitch up or I will.
Yes.
And then I'm like,
that was Rick
wow.
Rude. That was Rick
that's
Rude.
the Ricky Rude guy.
Oh man, I that was really weird too, right? Like that, it just seemed totally unnecessary. Even for a terrorist, it seemed unnecessary.
Wait, you're saying that a terrorist that's stopping a train and have guns on these innocent people and shooting innocent people, they should have had a little bit more compassion?
Total. A little higher standards, especially for Rick Rude. I mean,
they should have had a better HR training video for henchmen. What should he have done in that situation? Be a little nicer. That would have been the Patrick Swayze version of that. But so again, the whole premise of this movie is they want to get which we'll get into a second, but they chose these two captains are going on this train that goes through dark territory, which we'll get into that They could have thought of something a little bit better of that part of it. But the fact that they go on there just to take that over and they don't like maybe scrub the manifest to make sure there's not like some like legendary military guys on there.
Well, again, they work for the same Affleck, as the other ones, and very incompetent. I mean, considering the code seems pretty simple, like it was like 5 numbers. Like it really wasn't like like a face, like a thumbprint or something. Like it was a very simple way to give, like to the most important code you possibly can have, and you have a 5-digit code.
And there was no special characters either, or uppercase or lowercase. It was just
or a symbol. I mean, at least throw a symbol in there.
And the @ sign, they're like, oh shit, I should have known that. So then we see Patrick kill Patrick for the first time, and then we see one bad guy, Seagal, I must say, in this movie, because I think where his stature was in the movie, no matter what was going to do good, he makes pretty much quick kills of a lot of guys. There's a lot of like really quick ones.
He was OP throughout the whole movie. He was OP. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I do think one of the henchmen deserved a better ending.
No, I know. We'll get to that. No, I know that was pretty ridiculous. Yeah. But yeah, so all the chefs, all of them, every single one gets killed. What a way to go. They just learned the greatest microwavable bourbon cake recipe.
Yeah, but they died doing what they love in the place they love, the kitchen.
But just made no sense that they're like, yeah, let's storm this part of it. They shoot them all up, and then Seagal makes quick work of one of the guys. And
do they like? Okay, so for henchmen and villains, did they check the entire train? Because I feel like they didn't. I feel like they went to I feel like they went to two cars, and that's it.
Yeah, if you think about it, the guy from Beverly Hills Cop, he was in the conductor, he was in the front of the train.
Yep.
But really, from the back of the train, it seemed like the only train cars that we saw were like the sleeping car that the two captains were in, like the dining car where the bar car was, the kitchen,
the bathroom,
all the bathroom, and the luggage, because the luggage was all the way in the back. And I think his name's Jonathan Banks, the guy from Beverly Hills Cop, all the way in the front. There was a lot unaccounted.
There's a lot more cars, yeah. Because I mean, Seagal does a lot of running on top of them all. So you would think again, why wouldn't they check all the cars? And then it questions, how come that you have this train going, leaving a station? Why are they only filled in 2 cars? Like, what are the other? Like, are they not? Like, where's all the other cars are empty?
Yeah. I don't understand that. I don't understand why they killed the chefs. It's not like those chefs were doing anything, but those are the only people they like killed willy-nilly, unless they like, and for some reason
they shot them from outside, didn't they? I think they were outside the car. This was before the train was even moving. They just shot up.
Oh, that's right.
So I don't know what they thought. Maybe one of them knew, like, hey, Casey Ryback's a chef. Maybe he's there. I have no idea. But that just made. So then we get the bad guys come. They kidnap the 2 captains, and when they get into the main train car that we see, like the villain's lair, I'm gonna call it. It looks like a full Radio Shack setup. All the stuff there was just whatever they found in some prop set for maybe like War Games. They went to War Games. They took all the computer props.
They also had a green screen there. They had for Paris. It was in the background. They actually had a green screen behind him. Like, they didn't even try to hide. Like, when you first see it, you're like, all right, he must have done something with the computer. But no, when they go back to the cart, there's literally the green screen standing up behind them.
I know.
Dane Cook was doing Zoom like 30 years before it was even invented.
And I got to tell you right now, the computer hacker guy, I couldn't stand him. He was annoying.
Yeah.
When he first popped up on the screen, I totally thought he was Tim Curry. I could have sworn. I was like, "Oh my God, Tim Curry's in this. This is an amazing role for him."
Oh, then it would have been a better role. But this guy was like, he was playing the crazy too much. like, you know, talking to himself constantly and doing Twilight Zone references and just
the Twilight Zone, and that was so weird.
He would just, I don't know, I just feel like he was just too over the top, you know. And we didn't hear anything about him or seen him in the movie, right?
No, they talked about him a little bit earlier in the hallway because they were talking about him because he was a big part of that satellite system.
Okay. See, I think I missed that then.
They
because
found his car in the lake.
But they kept referencing that they thought he was dead. Like the audiences, though, for the most part, I mean, it's something that easily could have been missed.
Yeah, like it was just a throw in. His name's Travis Dane. You know who he looked like? Whose kid he could have been? Elliot Gould.
Yes.
He had like this weird Elliot Gould look to him.
Yes.
And again, like you said, like his quirkiness was just a little too much. But the way they got the people to give the codes up they went 0 to 60 in no time.
Well, you know, it cracked me up because, you know, first they go to the girl and, you know, and then she gives the code. Then they go to the guy. Or is it before the guy? And he goes, I'm not giving you any codes. I'm not going to give you anything. Within seconds, he gives the code out because he sees was it?
Yeah. He gave it up when it was close to her. Not even close to her yet.
Right. Within seconds, he gave it up. So, yeah.
She held out.
She did have
like 30 minutes. Like 30 minutes. Holy smokes, this lady.
You know, I part of me thought that she was in on it. Like, I thought she was part of like and she was she basically messing with him and like pretending. I thought she was in on it.
Well, that changed pretty quick.
If they boosted the budget to 101, we could have seen an exploding eyeball. Really. I was really waiting for that.
Well, if you're going to see an exploding eyeball, it's going to be done by Seagal. It wouldn't be done by henchman woman, you know, number one.
Henchman woman number one. So how about the prop satellite that was in the room? That was, come on. That the budget didn't go to that at all. It just looked like a circle that some kid made in like.
So you said this budget's 70 million?
60 million.
60 million. Okay. The entire movie takes place in two rooms, basically. Yeah. Like maybe 3 rooms. Like, where's the budget going? I mean, I think
it all went to like that technology was really expensive back in the day. Was like the miniatures for some reason cost so much, like all those explosions, which we'll get into it because this movie is basically like, I'd love to like interview somebody on the behind the scenes because there's 2 parts of this movie where you see like the miniatures. One part looks terrible, and then another part looks so real. Like it reminds me of Speed. That one scene at the end of Speed, it looks so real. When you watch behind the scenes, it's only like these little tiny cars.
Do you know what Seagal made for this movie?
What he made?
Yeah.
He made a bourbon cake in the microwave. No, I don't know. Probably
like I wonder if he was
15 million.
I wonder if this is because during this time there was like a lot of these actors were making like the 20-25 million, you know, Jim Carrey and all them. So I wonder if he was, you know, that's a third of the budget right there. You know, so.
And he probably got a lot of the box office with. It's probably
no, but I meant for like budget purposes, you know, like what he, you know, because that's probably a big part of why, you know, where the budget went.
Yeah. So then we get Seagal. Casey almost gets caught, so he climbs out of a window. He gets onto the roof, and then he's very casually playing peekaboo, looking in the windows.
All right. So yes, I these 2 things right here. Number one, I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, that windows on a train do not open. I would, you know, if you have a train that's going to be going 200 miles an hour, I mean, most train, whatever, how fast they go, you're going to allow trains windows. I mean, buses windows don't open.
I think they only open a little crack to get air, but no, they don't fully.
Okay, so it may give that little tilt. Like maybe you can open up a little tilt. There's no way it slides open like that. No. There's no way. I think you would have people trying to climb out or do like go on top of the train. Like I doubt that. But no one noticed his head totally looking in the window. A room filled with people. Now one person noticed. He really like it wasn't like he was just going to the side. His entire head was in plain view.
It seemed like Sarah may have noticed, but I wasn't quite sure because she never made any.
But she didn't like because she would no one saw him.
That's how good he was. So here's what I kind of like was alluding to earlier. Jamie thought, oh, maybe the hot captain was in on it. No, the fact that this part, I was really jaw drop. It almost reminded me of Escape Plan 3 when they slit like the one girl's neck that was like a main character. The fact that in this movie they took the guy, I think they tossed him, then shot him, and then with her just threw her out, and she landed in shallow water.
See, this is all part of what Andrew was saying before. No compassion. I mean, they gave the codes up. I mean, listen, if they're going to kill him, they easily could have just shot him. No, let's throw them out there and let them crack their heads open on rocks on the way down. No compassion. These are not compassionate terrorists.
And she missed the rocks too. Like I really thought, so when they first introduced her in the movie, I thought she was really going to be a bigger part of this.
Correct.
She's going to be like the female heroine. And she got thrown out, and then she hit the water. She avoided the rocks. I'm like, all right, she's still alive.
You're going to see her later on in the movie.
Yeah, she's gonna come back. She's gonna do something.
Yep.
Under Siege 3, it opens up and just her hand crawling out of the water. Boom. Maybe end credit scene. I didn't watch the end of the credits. You never know. Could have been just her like popping her hand out. But one thing I must say about this movie, like horror movies make you go like, oh, like something gross. This movie, there was a lot of times I was like, ooh, like the way people fell off. And you didn't like that sound effect? That wasn't good.
No. Stick with your Seagal.
The way people were getting tossed and like thrown off the train. There was a few of them. I was like, damn, that looks real. One looked really bad, which I have the photo behind me.
Well, there's definitely also, I mean, for Seagal at least, I noticed quite a few stunt doubles that you could clearly see was not Seagal.
His slow-mo jump?
No way.
I mean, considering number one, his hair did not move on the train every time he was up there. Like it really, like his hair and his clothes. Now he did a lot of rolling around, falling on the ground, shot and everything else. His suit that he was wearing looked like it just came from the dry cleaners at the end of the movie.
Well, he wasn't shot.
Nothing.
Remember that? He said,
what?
You said you think this is being shot? This isn't being shot. After he was just shot.
After he was shot, that doesn't come into play the rest of the movie. He acts like he literally got shot, and the rest of the movie doesn't address it one bit.
Blood everywhere in the train. Nah,
and we see this a lot on trains. Is it possible to really like run across the top of a train when it's moving? Like I would think that's pretty difficult to do.
I don't know.
And there was a lot of
dirty transit schedule. Let's see what we got going on tomorrow. I'll go to try.
Or, and again, I think this goes at the window. Are doors easily to open the way these doors on the side of the train just open very easily? Like when the train's moving, I would think everything locks. There's like no safety.
Yeah, no, they don't even lock. They can only be opened by a conductor. Like a conductor on the train, on NJ Transit, has to go to the doors to like unlock. Yeah, dude.
So if you're on the outside, so should be impossible to open any door while the train's moving on the outside.
Yeah,
and he seems to be able to open every one of them.
Yeah, even you got to think the easiest one to get into, like the caboose, because there's like a little deck back there. No, he easily, like when he finds out that they locked all the windows, because the one guy goes, "Hey, make sure all the windows are locked." Somebody why would somebody think that? Hey, I think one of these guys got out and they climbed the top of the train. Because who would do that? But he somehow gets in through all the luggage and finds. He does. Out.
And is there always a secret door in the bathroom?
Oh, I don't know.
Because he found one.
Holy shit, that was intense. So the whole premise of this movie is like Travis Dane, who like put together the satellite that they zoomed in on the boobs. That's just like a little part of what it can do. It actually can have the ability to like lock into missiles around the globe. So he has like investors in China and he's like trying to show it off. So what was the first target that he wanted to shoot at? China. That's what it was.
He fucking blew up a chemical weapons plant in China.
Yeah.
A short 10-second, scene of fire and brimstone, and then nothing.
Yeah, they really
no remorse.
And then I loved leading up to that when you saw that 10 seconds of footage. Again, the bad 3D of how a satellite works and like the everything, like the global positioning and everything, it just reminds me of like hackers, like the way they thought computers worked. It's like not like that at all. But the fact that he's showing off to his investors, you think somebody's watching it, he's like, that's good. Now I can work with him. Wouldn't you be like, this guy's fucking crazy? Hang up the phone.
I thought at some point Mike Pence was going to kill him. Like after he got everything he needed, I just felt like he just had enough of him because like he was pretty intense the whole movie, Mike Pence, and I just thought he really had enough of this guy's nonsense.
What if Mike Pence is listening? He's like, I'm a big Everett McGill fan.
So if you look at the Everett McGill IMDb page, he looks just like Gary Busey, which is so sad. I'm sorry, Everett McGill.
Now?
But yeah.
Like, you mean?
Because I think Gary Busey was in the first one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of like he's just replacing Gary Busey.
Well, I think Seagal, I thought I read something, and I got to double check, but they wanted Gary Busey to. I think Seagal wanted Gary Busey to be in this movie, or someone wanted him to be in this movie, but they forgot that he died, and he still got paid or something and not be in the movie. I read that somewhere, and I gotta find out where I read that. But yeah.
He would wear his dress again. So then Seagal in this movie, he's like Felix the cat when he just has like, what is that Apple he has? What kind of device is that? It's like an iPad before
Pilot or something, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was weird what was on there, which it was like recipes and then his book that he's writing.
And then he faxed a message from his Palm Pilot to the rest
to the chef.
Like,
but you would think though, if he's going to leave that out, and he's trying to, he wouldn't have his name anywhere on there, and he had it was like what, Ryback's recipes or something like that, or
no, it was Ryback's Tactics, which is going to be the name of his book.
No, I understand, but like he left it there. It was part of his tracking. Like, so you would think like, because that's the only way they found out that he was on the train. So like as good as he is, I don't think he would leave his name out there. To figure it out.
Put a blanket over it, a sheet, a friggin' plant, something in front of it.
Plain sight, right there. Yeah.
Or he could have like had a longer wire. It was a very short wire that plugged into the phone. It was just. So, but I know you didn't like Bobby's character, but he did do a pretty funny Seagal. Like when he was mocking Seagal, when Seagal would leave, when Seagal was like, so you hold the gun like this, you hold the gun like this. And then as soon as he left, Bobby's like mocking him. I thought that was pretty funny.
Well, I thought it was funny when Seagal goes, like, I guess the guy wasn't paying attention, and Seagal goes, don't make me raise my voice. I've seen about 8 Seagal movies. I don't think he's ever raised his voice once in any of them.
He's always very calm.
Very.
No matter what. Same monotone voice. That's it. So then we get a rich guy that wants Travis, another like investor. They go, hey, he wants you to blow up his ex-wife's plane. And then he's like, what for what? And he's like, for $100 million. What's happening? Like, wouldn't they think that something like the fact that again he could do that and he does do it and it blows up the plane? Like, what's the point of this? I know obviously $100 million, but I don't know. I just didn't understand the capabilities of what this whole thing was. I thought it was just, hey, the satellite can grab these missiles and fire them. Now it can just like cause earthquakes in the ground.
It can blow up whatever it wants, anywhere it wants. Well, how about the fact that Affleck, NASA, when they lost power, I guess, like they called it a glitch. Oh, we got a little glitch going. This is NASA. Like you don't get a glitch.
Yeah. Oh no, I forgot. So what Ryback was calling the name of his restaurant, Mile High Cafe. That's what it said on the screen. It said Mile High Cafe, and then underneath it. So then Seagal takes out a one-eyed Freddie Mercury. Is that Rick Rude?
That was Rick. Oh yeah, I was debating between Rick Rude and Freddie Mercury. I really didn't want to put down Freddie Mercury, so I went with Rick Rude. But yeah, that's the same guy with the weird, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he had a glass eye, right? I think he had a glass eye. That's
and he gets killed with his oown knife. Seagal takes him out with his own knife.
Well, he's the same guy that called the little girl a bitch. So fuck him. I could care less.
See, that's what happens when you don't follow the HR rules. Seagal's gonna take you out.
Yeah, talking to
wouldn't it have been cool if he stabbed him in the eye and his fake eye comes out?
Oh, that is pretty funny.
And that would have saved on the budget.
Oh god. So then we get Sarah Ryback is telling some waitress about her medals and her hero uncle.
Who was that waitress? Because she
looked
almost like an older version of Katherine Heigl.
Oh yeah, but she looked like someone else too. Oh,
she was in a bunch of stuff. She was in Tomcat. She plays like a nurse in that movie. I think she hooked up with like Jake Busey in that movie. But no, she's in a ton of things. You look at her IMDb, like the same type of role.
You think she was the woman that was on the beach?
I hope so.
Imagine that.
No. I think that girl is Asian. No.
Stunt boobs.
What?
Andrew minored in boob ethnicity.
Asian boobs.
That's amazing. And then again, it is cool because it does pay off like some of his showdowns later in the movie. Seagal, we have another guy with like a gun pops in. Seagal shoots the guy in his own head with the guy's gun, which again, they're cool. Like some of these quick kills even are pretty good. And there are some good one-liners. One later in the movie is my favorite lines.
What the kitchen or the
no. We'll get to it. Not that one, but that one's good too.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's what makes Seagal's movies so good is like he does stuff that the other guys never did. Like the way he fights. I just have like a problem with some of his nimble stuff of being dragged under a train or jumping between cars because he's not built for that. So, it's like, there had to be a running scene at some point, which we do get in this movie.
He jogs a lot. He does jog a lot, though.
No, but I mean, like, he has that famous run that everybody makes fun of. And I'm like, okay, he's on the train. We're not going to see it in this movie, but no, we see it.
We do. And it's it's a lot longer than I thought. I'm like, how far is he running? But so I talked about how some of those, like maybe like cringe, maybe, I guess. But when you get all these people tossed over, like later on in a helicopter from the train, you're like, holy shit. When the old man is on top of the train and he pulls out his gun, Seagal kicks him off the train on video. I'll describe it. It looks like the worst dummy ever. Like, no joke. And it just like folds under the train. The train runs over it. And I'm just like,
well, it doesn't just run over it; it drags it, right?
It drags it and like bends, like it like.
And he's still alive, like he's like they're making it look like he's.
But I do hate gun Seagal. When Seagal has a gun, I like the hand-to-hand combat. So when he like kicks the guy's ass and throws him off the train, cool. But then like when he has a gun,
there's a keto, right? Like that's
keto. So do you like knife Seagal?
See, that was weird. No, I like hand-to-hand fighting Seagal when he like puts his gun down and he like fights the guys. But no, when he has the gun, it's cool because you have to have those quick kills. There's a lot of bad guys on this train. Like when you really think about towards the end, throughout this whole movie, how many people he's taken out, those are a lot of guys that got on that train.
Well, they don't like there was more than you thought because they only show like the 5 main ones, but there were a bunch other ones, that were lingering around.
Yeah, and we see
that begs the question: like, how do you find this many bad guys? Like, how do you?
Well, no, the guy said the Elliot Gould, whatever his name is. He goes, I thought you were $1 million guys. We're going to do a better job than this, or something like that.
But this is 1995. Like, how do you put out an ad for this many bad guys to hijack a train?
Terrorist Weekly.
Blow up Washington. Like, I don't.
I don't know how you do that. Like, because I don't know if these guys were loyal to Mike Pence or to Dane. Like, I don't. It was really weird.
Well, I always question if you're one of those guys, how do you trust anybody? Like knowing that you easily, especially when money's involved, that you're not gonna, die at any point. Like, like you're all like, just how do you trust anybody?
And Mike Pence seemed surprised. So when Dane put the bounty on Washington is like 1 billion. He was like, you're doing it for money? So like there wasn't even like a payoff originally, right? Like it was just like, hey, we're just gonna do this for kicks and shit.
No, there was something with him, and then throughout there's like little lines. Like I think he was ex-military. Peter Green, the guy from The Mask and Pulp Fiction, he on the I maybe they deleted the scene or maybe it was a quick line. It says that he actually knew Ryback.
Ryback taught him, or like was like his leader, and then Kilpatrick said that he's the best.
Yeah, he was like, whoa, Casey Ryback.
Well, he Elliot Gould is he's doing this for revenge. They fired him, right? They got so I mean that was his, I guess, the motivation he told Mike Pence.
Yeah, and then like you were talking about how big this train was before, when her name's probably female mercenary 1, she gets the sniper rifle. She's in like the back of the train, and she snipes Seagal from how far away on a moving train. And you see how big that train is, and how far
she's that good.
She's that good.
She nails him though. Like she really does. Like,
well, I mean, we discussed this. He wasn't shot.
Yeah.
No, he clearly wasn't.
So cool.
Just a flesh wound.
So then, like we talked about, this is the next scene is when they find out, when they're looking at it, they find his Apple device and they figure out Ryback. They're all gushing over him, and what's his name has no idea who he is. Elliot Gould's like, who? What? He like is so confused. All the other guys like, oh my god, he's the best. That'd be pretty nerve-wracking if you hired guys and they're like gushing over a guy. Would they like when they see him be like, oh my god, dude, can I have your autograph? Can you sign my
that happened in some action movie that like, it was John Wick, I think. It was like one of the John Wicks, I think the last one, the one guy goes, I heard so much about you. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to kill you, but I mean, like, this is an honor or something like that. That's like awesome. That really happened in the movie. So yeah.
Oh, I just watched Nobody, and it was like the same idea.
How is that? Is that
like they heard his name and they were like, oh shit, I'm out.
That's Better Call Saul, right? The guy.
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk, yeah.
Here's another question I have that you see that in a lot of movies. Now, Seagal's wearing a sports coat the entire movie. He's doing a lot in that coat. When I go to a wedding, I can't wait to take that coat off because I can barely move in it. I mean, and I take the coat off, like, how do they do all this? Like, knowing that you're going to be doing all this jumping, running, going on the trains, why not take it off? Like, why do you got to leave the coat on?
He had time. He could have easily took it off real quick.
Like, don't you think you'd move better? I mean, like, I don't know how, like, and it happens in all the movies. They always wear like a sports coat. Like James Bond is always dressed nice. Like when you wear like sweatpants and a t-shirt, you want to be like as nimble as possible.
That'd be funny. Pizza stains, hole in the shirt. That'd be great to see Seagal.
Running shoes.
Cool. That'd be perfect for Under Siege 3. He's retired in sweatpants. Maybe he's playing like at a golf course, and then boom. Then
as big as he is now, I could see a tracksuit.
A tracksuit. Weekend at Bernie's tracksuit. So the next part of the movie is when they shoot him, and you see blood, and they're like, "He's got to be gone, man. He's got to be gone." And he's like, "Did you see a body?" And he's like, "No." And then he's like, "Without confirmation, we have to keep searching the train for him." And then, like you said, how's he hanging? Dude, could you imagine that hanging underneath and the bouncing? And dude, God forbid if there's one thing on the track sticking up, you're donezo.
Well, again, wearing a sports coat, it's hanging on the ground. So it's gonna snag on something. No, it doesn't.
And it looks perfect.
And it's not okay. He's under a train over rocks and dirt. You would think he'd get up all like dirty and like dust all over him. Nothing.
So then the whole next part, they're trying to figure out, they go to the manifest, they see Ryback +1. So they're trying to figure out who it is. They're like, oh, is it a wife? They're like, no, wife, you put the name. And then she's great, man. She's really good in this movie. Like Katherine Heigl, I loved her character.
Like I said, I thought she was the typical annoying daughter, and she wasn't. So like, I was surprised at her role. I think she did a good job. You're right. You would think that you would hide that necklace.
Yeah, the hottie bartender lady, she said to hide it, and she didn't.
Yeah,
even though Evan McGill was
proudly. Yeah, and that's what gave her away.
Well, not for nothing, those two stood out from everybody in that train. I mean, like, clearly Seagal was not with any. I thought they were going to think that he was with the waitress or whatever she is, the bartender, because I mean, like, it's Seagal. So why not? But they stood out from everybody else in that train. It was so obvious.
And she got shot for it anyway. So maybe they should have just been like, oh, are you Mrs. Ryback? And then she gets shot. You know what?
That's one of the shocker moments. Like you said, like, I didn't expect that, because she goes, oh, no, leave her alone. And he just turned around and shot her like out of the blue. Like, it was very unexpected.
Yeah. But you know what's funny? It looked like she like grabbed her leg. So I'm like, maybe she didn't die, but then we didn't reference her for the rest of the movie. And then later, her doppelganger, who kind of looks like her, the lady in the bathroom later.
We have a question. I have a question about that one, but
yeah, we'll get into that.
But okay. So yeah, you have all these hostages. I don't think you see anyone else. Once Katherine Heigl's taken, you don't see anyone else except the one in the bathroom.
No. Yeah, you're right. You don't see really anybody for the rest of the movie. Yeah. Really, you don't.
Yeah, you don't.
Even later when they reference that, oh, we got them all off, you're like,
not one.
Oh,
not one.
Well, they cheered, right? When they uncoupled the car. Didn't they all cheer that we're free or something?
Oh, yeah. They did disconnect one of the cars.
Okay, that's why we didn't see them.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that would make sense.
Andrew, that's why you're
here.
Your action.
Because I was wondering later on when everything went, spoiler alert, when everything blew up, I was like, oh man, all those people. And I'm like, oh wait, they disconnected earlier on. Okay.
Is it easy to disconnect a train while it's moving?
I hope not. I hope it's not that easy.
You think it would happen? Like, imagine a train going off like a little bump in the track, and then it just unhooks by itself. I mean, that's how easy they did it.
It definitely seemed that way. It seemed like there should have been like 3 or 4 or 5 things you have to disconnect. It seemed like it was like a little button.
And you need like a special tool, I mean,
I don't know. My son runs Lionel trains all the time, and those fuckers always uncouple. So I mean, if they're anything like the real thing, yeah, I totally believe it.
So then I love Bobby and Ryback when they like throughout the movie they always like meet back up. Like Ryback goes, kills 3 or 4 guys, comes back to meet Bobby, and then Bobby goes, "What are you doing now?" Ryback says, "Me? Oh, I'm making a bomb." And he's grabbing everything from behind the bar, and then
what did he start with? Coconut cream? Was
coconut,
it coconut oil?
Yes.
And the fact that you're thinking that this is going to be something for later. No, cut to he walks up to a guy, throws it, and the pager reads, "You're fucked."
Where did he get those wires from? Because he was at the bar or kitchen, and I can understand the coconut oil, but like he had those little red and blue wires that he hooked up to it. Where'd that come from?
Sports coat.
Okay, that's why he's wearing it
from earlier on. Didn't he have that little fanny pack that he has gun and all his other stuff in?
Yeah. That's where he had the Apple, the Palm Pilot thing. Yeah.
He does find wires. We have to say this. So he does find wires all the time. Like when he needed to connect the Palm Pilot to the internet, and then later on when he had to steal the car, like he finds wires easily.
Oh well, the car. We'll talk about that in a few. That is unbelievable.
So this guy lights on fire from the bomb.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yes.
It was pretty cool.
Good old fire. And then the other guy, we get the classic Seagal breaking the hand back, which I love. Even though you know that it's a fake arm, but it looks so cool.
Yep.
That's classic Seagal. Out of all of his moves, that's it. The bending of the arm or breaking the leg in half. It's the best.
Thought it was real. Okay.
Or chopping fingers off.
Yeah.
Wait, no. You're skipping
Okay.
too far.
Oh,
Too far.
that was pretty wild, dude.
You know, it's crazy. Like this guy, he really, except for the one part, I think he goes on the ground near the end. He barely gets touched. Now, these are like the best of the best villains that they're hiring, and they don't even come close to Casey Ryback.
No
Like,
one.
they can't
really.
they can't even touch him.
No,
How
the
good are they?
girl.
Really the best of the best.
Yeah, she's the only one.
It's like 1 million divided by like 50. Like, how much are they really getting per person? I really doubt it.
Or how about sending there were obviously 5, henchmen. You got the guy from Pulp Fiction. You have Kilpatrick. Like you had all those guys. Breaking Bad. Send them all at the same time. These are all the best guys.
Mike Pence couldn't even get a finger on him, even after he took the pepper spray to the face to demonstrate how tough he was. It was like, nah, I'm just gonna get my ass kicked by Steven Seagal.
You got an ass kicked.
When he goes, when you're used to military grade, this is nothing. And he takes it and squirts it in his mouth.
Well, he said
he
said it was mace, and he goes, no, it's pepper spray.
Oh,
She called it mace.
Yeah.
And he said pepper sprays for civilians or something like that. Like
Yeah.
he said, yeah.
So then we get to Ryback when him and the guy like fall off the train, right? Like when you think that, you're like, oh, he's never going to get back on that train. Really?
And
then
he has
this
the
whole
CD-ROM. He has the CD-ROM.
He does have the CD-ROM that Bobby grabbed. Yeah.
Well, no, Bobby snuck in. Like,
Yeah.
Which was that whole scene was ridiculous. He had that dumbwaiter elevator that while the fire is going on, he knew exactly where to go, and somehow for some reason the CD-ROM was pushed out of the computer. Like it wasn't in there. Why was it sitting out of there?
No, why wouldn't Travis have left that in? The most important thing.
But he's been working on it all this time. So why was the eject button? Like, why was the eject button used?
Plot hole. I think we found a plot hole. First of a few. So you talked about Casey and his sports coat. How about the fact that the shoes that he's wearing? He's clearly wearing like dress shoes.
Yep.
And somehow he's climbing the face, the rock wall. Okay. Some guy, again, these mercenaries, they might not be the best, but they have all the tools. The fact that he rappels down so quick and they say, hey, be careful, he has a CD-ROM. Why would that guy get so close?
Well, I mean, Seagal's barely holding on to a ledge with his fingertips. That's first of all. But you made a good point. He's wearing dress shoes. Again, and I want to go back to running on top of a train. Now, it's made of metal. He'd be sliding all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Running on a train, and again, and I think even on rocks, like he would he's not dressed for, success in this movie.
He's not dressed. Well, he's dressed for success, but just not for running on train.
Yes. But yes, why would that guy get so close to him? And again, how is Seagal able to do anything when he's barely holding on to with his fingertips, yet he's able to take on that guy? And how bad is that guy? Again, this is one of your paid henchmen that you're paying millions of dollars to, and this guy can't handle a guy who's hanging on a ledge, a rock ledge.
Easily takes him out, and then he's able to. He basically just gives Seagal like an escape. Seagal was dead in the water.
Seagal has great grip strength in this scene.
Yes.
Because a few times he has to hold on to the ledge, even when he's going up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then we get Kilpatrick has a line because he wants to he shoots at Bobby and he says Porter's checked. And then again, like I said, the train at this point was stopped for like a few seconds and Andrew disappeared into the train.
Oh, hold on.
Are you pulling a Jeffrey Toobin right now? Are your pants on?
Oh no, I'm definitely on. Hold on.
You okay there?
You know what? I did like the Bobby scene coming up. As much as he was annoying. Is his name Bobby the porter?
Yeah.
With the gun.
With the gun when what?
What his line? You remember what his line was?
No.
He goes, well, he had two lines coming up, but he said something like, "What's in your pocket?" He goes, "Your ass," and he turns around and shot the guy.
Oh yeah, that's good. No, I'm telling you, there's some parts of this movie that I enjoyed his lines and just his. I think so many times we see these movies, it's usually Seagal by himself for the most part.
Yeah, but I guess they needed a little comic relief. I mean, same thing with Die Hard. You had the limo driver. You always have to. I guess when it's such a serious movie, you just a little. I just feel like his comic relief was almost too much. Like he definitely played the role way overboard. But he definitely had some cool scenes.
Oh yeah, dude. No, there was definitely some cool parts. And then this is like when the train leaves, and again, he's so far away. And then this is like Andrew kind of mentioned it before with the wires. The fact that he runs up to an abandoned truck, he opens the hood. That's the first thing he thinks of. And he sees two wires just get disconnected. And everything else is so perfect and clean.
Was there anything else nearby besides the truck?
I don't know.
I mean, did that just happen to be there just like that? And if it was abandoned like that, I'm assuming there's no way that truck is starting.
Exactly. It probably has not ran in years. He touches two wires, turns it, boom.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but that's what I do to my truck all the time. I disconnect it from the battery, and I just jump, hot wire it to get it started.
All right, then you know what? I stand corrected.
That quick usually. It's like, all right, honey, let's go. Why is your husband going under the hood? I don't know. You watch Under Siege too.
I feel like Steven Seagal.
This is how I start my car. Kelly, get in the car. His ex-wife.
My black sports coat.
Yeah, let me wear my sports coat. No oil stains, nothing on that jacket from reaching.
Nothing.
Okay, so this is one thing I want to mention. Out of all the Seagal movies, he never has a character flaw, right? Is there? Well, that's who he is in real life. Is there ever a movie that he has anything?
Nothing. He's the best at everything.
Yeah.
And I bet you
something.
I bet you in his contract he says, "I'm not wearing a dirty suit." So I bet you, because there's no way. Again, the whole movie, his suit is in one piece, like ripped, a sleeve ripped off, like something, like he's dragged under a train. Nothing. So I bet you, because he has to look good on camera, that he was like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna wear any dusty thing, and I bet you.
Yeah, I was just trying to think. It'd be good for him to have some flaw. Like, I don't know what it could be, but just something like, even Indiana Jones hates snakes. There could have been something in this scene. Not saying because he was like a Navy SEAL, like not fear of heights, but just this whole part, like that he drives this. The fact that there's a road that perfectly goes next to this train. Yeah,
but you know what though? I expected this scene to go way worse. I thought somehow the train, the truck was going to go towards the train, and he was going to jump out right at the right time to get on the train.
Yeah.
So it could have been a lot worse.
Okay. I just didn't like the fact that I just wish there was a different way. Maybe like he drove to a bridge. Just the fact that it was a dirt road that ran next to it, and his slow-mo jump onto the train was just.
Now you mentioned a flaw. What flaw do you like in your eyes? What flaw can Seagal have?
I don't know, because his characters are always so perfect. So I don't know. Like in this role, when he's a Navy SEAL, what's he going to be? I don't know. Like I don't even have a guess, because he would never have anything like that.
He would
damage to himself.
If it was a snake, he would grab a snake by its neck.
He would he talked to it probably. His snake would be his buddy or something.
Earlier in the movie, he did say after Katherine Heigl's teen angst, he's like, "I'm not trained for this." So that would be the one fault, that he's not trained to
be a father,
a pubescent teenage girl.
Well, then he's like Miyagi in that aspect.
Exactly.
No, but it just something like even Bruce Willis, Die Hard, he steps on the glass and his like for the rest of the movie, he's kind of hurt. He gets shot in this movie.
You don't see it, and you don't see it anymore. Like, yeah, you're right. I don't think in any movie has he ever gotten beaten up. Like, he's never looked bloody. Never. Like, there's not even close.
Even Mike Pence, the great Mike Pence,
he was
a finger on him.
Yeah, no. He did get knocked down with Pence for like in the bathroom, I think, or somewhere. You know,
kicked him. He kicked him, and then he ran away.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, I'm trying to think of all Seagal's movies. And I think you're right, Doug. I don't think
Hard to Kill was the only one when he got shot up pretty bad. That's it.
And he still looked pretty normal. Exactly. I think his beard. I think the beard is the only thing that really changed about. Like, you know, like that's it. You know, but really, you're right. I don't think he ever gets beat up. He never loses.
Remember the TV show when he was a deputy? Remember that?
He was a cop in like Alaska, right? Or
I wonder if he ever got roughed up in that one.
Well, I think a lot of these karate guys, like what's the guy that was in Kill Bill? What's his name? The main guy, Bill. He's the famous kung fu guy on TV.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, what the heck's his name? He has a name that sounds like another actor's name too.
You know. So he was in a movie with Chuck Norris, you know, and I forget the name of the movie. It might have been Lone Wolf McQuade or something like that. And like they had an end fight scene. Now you got these two guys that are known for their karate, and Chuck Norris, in the contract that guy from Kung Fu would not allow Chuck Norris to beat him in karate. Chuck Norris had to shoot him to kill him.
Yep.
So he was so like, you know, like again, the pompous and like so it's probably the same thing with Seagal. Like he can, in his contracts, there's no way I'm gonna get beat up. I'm the best, and you know,
Well,
that's probably why he was never in a movie with any of those guys, because he was big with all those guys. You know, like I wonder, like Van Damme or something like that. He's like, no, I'm not sharing screen time.
So then, my favorite part when Chef Boyardee when he calls the government, because I guess Casey like put the number on there, and the fact that he goes, hey, you have a message from, it's like, who sent this message, sir? Casey Ryback. Casey Ryback? Casey Ryback's on that train? And then you think, as a kid, I remember that scene, everybody erupting, like excited, but I was like kind of disappointed because the next line was like, well, Casey Ryback, you can do something in the next 18 minutes, but we have to get an airstrike ready. I'm like, holy shit. 18. This movie has more than 18 minutes left.
It does.
I think there was like 28 minutes left. I think that's when I stopped. When I was like falling asleep, I'm like, holy crap. Like what's happening? But that's what we get. And then we get Katherine Heigl was such a badass when she had like that one-on-one interaction and she like digged her nail into Mike Pence's face.
Yeah, but there was no blood. Like it almost looked like she was should have been. It almost looked like she was pushing on his cheek. Yeah, like
I thought she was doing like what the Italian like the faccia brute or something. Like I thought she was doing something like that.
You know what faccia brute means?
No, good.
Ugly face.
Oh, no, definitely not Mike Pence stuff. It must have been a faccia belle.
And again, she's 16 and he goes, ooh, man, that was good.
Well, in his defense, he doesn't know how old she is. And she does look older.
And she has the Navy Cross, so you should figure she's at least, of the age to enlist.
Yeah, but you know what, though? You said, she's you like her. She's so good. But you know what? She really isn't. I mean, she used the pepper spray. That didn't work. Then she used the pressure point nail thing. And I was looking. She doesn't even have nails on her finger. She had no nails. Like she didn't have long nails. Like she had no nails. So like I don't know what she was doing with that.
But like, it would have been Bobby.
Yeah, but it would have been cool if she had like again, she scratched him and you see like a cut, like a scar in his face or something. Like it was like an indent.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
And then
no pain.
So then Bobby, when he gets caught by the mask guy, that was pretty cool because he's ready to shoot me. He's like, hey kid, it was pretty cool. Like that conversation. And the guy's like, there's two ways, I like your, he's like, I like your energy. And like, he like is basically giving him props. Cause I love that he goes, come on, you're just a janitor. He goes, I'm a porter. And he's like, oh
no. He goes, you're just a busboy.
Just a
He
busboy.
He goes, I'm a porter, not a busboy.
All right, Mr. Porter.
So I think that goes with the geek and the nerd talk. So are porters higher than busboys? Like, is it like an insult to call, like?
Well, porter is a glorified. I was a porter when I worked at Stop and Shop when I was 16. It was just a fancy name for janitor. It was like saying custodial engineer.
Oh, so a porter is a
Do you
janitor.
have any terrorist attacks?
I didn't. Wait. So he's angry that he calls him a busboy. I would think a busboy would be more glamorous than a porter. No,
I don't know if they're.
I mean, yeah, they're both are tough jobs, but I mean, he seemed a little annoyed by that.
Yeah, and then I love like right away. He's like, "Oh, I like you, kid." And he's like, "Get ready to point the gun." And he's like, "Hey, can you help me out here?" Then freaking Casey Ryback right there makes quick work of him. No time.
I was hoping he would have fought out of that. I was hoping he would turn around and then do something. But yeah, no, just Steven Seagal.
Yeah, but the way he killed him was pretty. Like he broke his neck.
Yeah,
that was pretty intense.
Yeah, no, that was good. And then we got so Travis, in order to make sure that none of the again, there's no hostages really on there.
No, and okay, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say his whole part is like he moved the train on the tracks in order to have another train car come into yeah.
I was gonna say back to the Seagal and Bobby. Where did they get the maps from? Because they seem to have a map of everything that's going on. Dark territory. They have a map that's clearly labeled dark territory.
Does it say dark territory on the map?
It does. It does.
No, I know. I'm saying like on that real map, like how do they come up with this movie? They're like, okay, in order to do this, we have to have a part that there's no service. That just made.
Well, why would they have a map in the first place? The only place I would assume the map would be at the front, where with the conductor. They were never anywhere near the conductor. They were always in the luggage place. So how did they have this detailed map of everything that's going on?
Yeah. And then Bobby has ridden it. He's worked there long enough that he knew that usually they go through the ghost town, and this time they were on the opposite tracks. Now, what was on the other train? Was that just a conductor hauling? Just like not. It wasn't like a passenger train because all those people died.
6 locomotives on it, right? Like it was like a big, huge train, 600,000 gallons of gasoline.
Yeah, but then you got to assume there's a bunch of workers on there or something.
Yeah,
like they're not talking about any of those people that died on there.
Fuck
yeah. Why couldn't there have been like a little like remembrance, or think about those people that sacrificed themselves? Because pretty quick, the commander or whatever that guy was, he was ready to kill everyone on there just to save everyone that was going to get blown up at the Pentagon.
Well, didn't he say it's only 1,000 people or something like that? Or he made like a comment, it's only this number.
Yeah, only
200 to save 8 million.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, really? I'm like, I don't know, man. I get it. I get the number part of it, but
listen, I think in if you want to talk about reality, I mean, it's like anything else. I mean, it's, do you save one person to sacrifice to, whatever. I mean, you see it all the time. Yeah, it's a tough call. But I mean, but then again, if his wife, if a family member's on there, your views are a little different.
Yeah,
it's okay if it's not, if it doesn't, belong to your family.
Yeah. So how about the stealth bombers? Like within seconds, they have like these stealth bombers, like getting ready to just take it out. They're ready to take these people out. And the fact that Travis's technology, his satellite, is able to see exactly where they are, and we'll get in a second. There's like a ridiculous.
Just thought of this. So he created a way to fax a message to the chef. Why couldn't he just call? I mean, if he had the Wi-Fi or whatever to get the message across, it was a phone, right? Or was it a pager?
Well, it was just like a Palm Pilot, so it was like a mini computer. So I guess you couldn't call on those back then, which kind of nowadays it doesn't make sense with the technology that we have. But back then it was probably like it took like 30 seconds or even longer because they had to leave it.
Yes.
That's how long it was taking.
Yeah.
Then 20 words. Amazing. So best part of the movie, Seagal and Bobby take this like secret door to get into the woman's where this woman is in the bathroom.
Why is she putting on lipstick? She was in the bathroom putting on lipstick. Like, first of all, was she a hostage? Like who was she? Like, it was such a random thing to have this woman in there putting on lipstick. Like, it made absolutely no sense for her to be in there.
Maybe she was so vain. She was like, if I'm gonna die, I'm going out making my ex know that my dead body has red lipstick on when they pull me through the rubble. I don't know. That made no sense. But the fact that the bad guy, is ready to like shoot her for 1 second, and she's like, I broke my bra. And then Seagal, who's a pretty big guy, somehow is behind her little frame. And dude, his line after he knocks the guy out, tits to die for. The best. That's like the best one-liner. Like, that should be in all those videos I watch online. Sometimes I'm like 100 best like kill one-liners.
That should
Why
be
is that not on there?
You know, I forgot how he got in there. Did he take the secret entrance into the bathroom? Is that how he got there?
Him and Bobby both did. Yeah.
Totally.
So-
Bobby.
Isn't there something wrong with that? That there's a secret entrance to get into a bathroom where the woman was? Like, what if she was peeing?
Add it to the HR video.
Like, I think that would have been funnier. Like it made no sense that she's putting on lipstick, but have her peeing and then they creep in there. Like, you know, like,
how about if it was like, they're like, is anybody in here?
Or have like a Mile High something going on. Like, what is it called on a train? Is it called something? I mean, obviously it's not Mile High. So like Mile Long.
Locomotive lovin'. That's better than mile long.
That's way too long. That's way too long.
Doing the old LL. So then we have Ryback and Bobby are just, again, these are mercenaries. Bobby learned how to hold a gun 20 minutes ago, and him and Casey are taking out everyone. And we even have one guy that is like just a random guy that we never saw throughout the whole movie, like a Marine, because he randomly grabs, and I thought that was Bobby at first, because they just showed a guy come out of nowhere and tackle a guy with an Uzi, and then he gets shot up, and I'm like, holy shit, what just happened? It was just some random guy. So that was like the only passengers that were like left at that point. They were all in like one car. I don't know.
Well, you know, Bobby was in the beginning of the movie, he was afraid of everything. You know, hiding, he wasn't moving, and somehow his fear left him, and he became like fearless, because even when he was climbing that ladder, now that did not look sturdy at all, and it looked super high. No way are you going to go up there and climb that. No way.
He even says that. That's the line he says to Bobby. Because Bobby goes, "What are we going to do next?" And he has the gun in his hand, and he goes, "You want to do something to help out, or you want to be a hero?"
Said, "You want to be a hero?" He goes, "You want to be a hero?"
Yeah. He points up, commandeer that helicopter.
Like, that almost seemed more dangerous than the train aspect. So, like, why didn't Seagal take that role?
I don't know. It seemed dangerous, not even for him to do it, just putting the trust in him to go up there. Because what if he goes up there, something happens, he gets nervous, he shoots the helicopter guy, and then it just crashes into the train. Like, so many.
Or how about he falls off the ladder, which, you know, most likely probably would have happened.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh my gosh. So the stealth bomber, this was so silly, because when we saw the stealth bombers and Travis is like, "Oh, I can't pinpoint their locations. They're splitting up. I got to make sure I still have my locked in on the Pentagon." But when he blows the one up and they cut to it, it's like right over the train. I don't think a stealth bomber has to like touch the train to shoot it or blow it up. That just made absolute zero sense.
Both of them. He did. He blew up both of them.
Okay, he did blow.
But you're right. You're right that it literally was right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it could have gotten any closer.
I thought it was going to blow up the car. You even saw it.
Yes.
Like from the guys, there was like a little bit of a turbulence. I'm like, why was that guy so close to the train? Wouldn't that be like the dumbest? There has to be. They should have to like touch them in order to. Yeah.
Well, what was the stealth bomber supposed to be doing? Like shooting the train down, right?
Yeah.
He could have done. They could do it way further than that. So yeah, that made no sense whatsoever. But again,
also, if it gets shot by that thing, wouldn't the bomb on side, like the missile, explode too? Right?
And wouldn't affect the train. It was that close that you think like it would push the train off the track, like the explosion or something. Nothing.
No, just like a little tiny tremor. A little tiny. So Jamie, talk about it. Kilpatrick.
Very disappointed. Really. Because I feel like there were other villains that had much better like death scenes that were nobodies. And you got this guy here, and his just was, I don't know, it was very weak. Maybe it was the Seagal thing. Maybe he didn't get along with him for whatever reason. Maybe Kilpatrick, kind of said something that bothered Seagal. He goes, "All right, I'll get you."
But wouldn't Seagal then be like, "Hey, I don't like this Kilpatrick guy. I'm gonna rip his dick off." Would he make it like the most demeaning kill rather than the fact that they do kind of make him seem like a wuss.
But would that kill someone?
I don't know about right away, but it would kill me.
Well, it might kill you emotionally. But I don't know if it's gonna kill you, but I don't know.
No, but the fact that they wrote in the line for Kilpatrick, who at this point he's a pretty big time bad guy.
Agree.
Death warrant was like 5 years earlier, and the fact that he's like, "Hey, shouldn't this be the time we just cut our losses and leave?" And then Mike Pence was like, "Hell no!" And he pulls out the knife, stabs in the throat, twists a little bit, drops.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet there was like he must have been something with Seagal. He wrote him down because that didn't make sense. I would think he was outside of what's his name, the guy from Beverly Hills Cop. I think Kilpatrick was even bigger than that guy. Like the guy from Beverly Hills Cop who always played like a little side guy. Like he was never like the main guy in any movie. Kilpatrick was, it must have been an ego thing. Has to be because it was so lame. It could have been so much better.
And I wonder if that was the role that Brian Thompson was going to play because he was supposed to be in this movie, and then he chose to be in Lionheart instead because his buddy was directing it or his buddy wrote it. But yeah, so then you mentioned before Bobby. He's probably never held a gun, never climbed a rope ladder up to a helicopter. He's getting all the way up there. Then the girl mercenaries right behind him. And I did love this part because the guy that I said before you came on, the helicopter pilot looked like Randy Couture. He actually sort of looks like Patrick in a way.
Yes.
The fact that the guy, when he beats the girl, Bobby somehow beats a mercenary, like the fifth one that he's taken out, throws her off. Her body bounces off. Like it looks so cool when she hits the train.
That was a really good one. Yeah.
Great
I
line.
don't understand that. Why'd she climb after him? She could just shot him.
I said the same thing. I go, her job was to stop him from getting to that helicopter. He was, when she went out there, he was in the middle. Like he still had a long way to go. She had a gun, like shoot him. Like why she had to climb after him?
Well, if she missed and shot the helicopter guy, it lands into the train. You never know.
She's a mercenary. She's supposed to be the best of the. Listen, wait, she shot Seagal from like 7 trains back. You don't think she could? The guy climbing a ladder, she could shoot him.
She's good with the sniper.
I don't think she would
She's
miss.
not the best with the handgun. That's good. But how great was Bobby? You got to give him props when the guy's like, "Yeah, you made quick work of him." And he's like, "Oh, you made quick work of him."
Oh,
I love
you
that.
like that part?
That was awesome.
Oh, I hated it. I hated that part.
I love.
He just
Morris
did a cool
Chestnut.
thing, and then he's gonna do that. Oh,
Loved it.
oh.
Morris Chestnut, if you're listening, huge fan. That was awesome. So then again, Ryback at this moment, he has to get to his niece. That's what's on his mind. I have to get to her. How about when he kills the one guy and it is the longest sleeper hold ever? It is like so long to the point that I'm like, it can't be any longer, right? No, it was. It kept going and going. I'm like, wouldn't he like be making quick work like he was earlier in the movie with guys? It just seems so long for a guy that it wasn't even a guy that we knew.
Right. He had a better death and interaction with Seagal than Kirkpatrick. That to me, that I would have preferred him, go to sleep hold. Plus, he had a knife, Seagal. Why didn't he just stab him as he held him in his neck? Why waste your energy on a sleeper hold?
Exactly. It made no sense. So again, early in the movie, you're talking about the ragtag bunch. You compared them to who was your NASA group? Oh, Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
So how about this commander who already, I forgot what he said to the guy earlier in the movie, like that guy that zoomed in on the boobs made like a really off-color joke. And the commander was like, hey, how about you not talk anymore or something like that earlier. So then at this point, it's like, it's the final moments. And he goes, well, son, which one? Because he said one, and the guy goes, well, there's 8 other possibilities. Like, well, pick one. And I'm like, holy shit. What a shitty thing for a guy that's like a higher up to do. Give it to this freaking guy to choose between gamma, beta, all of these. It was just like, what?
Pick one. Yeah, I know.
And then the last second, he's like, and he's like, which one, son? He's like, Kappa.
It was the wrong one.
Yeah, and that's what it was. Yeah. And then so he could blame that guy, fire his ass.
Well, the poor guy was under pressure. He didn't give him a lot of time to think about it.
That is true. He thought, I'm going to work to zoom in on boobs. I'm finding tits on this, and that's still the most.
Well, and you know what's funny with that? Again, back to the woman that was on the beach. There was no one else on that beach. She was the only one that was out there, and he found her. And he found her. Like, you have an empty beach with no one else, and he somehow found an empty beach with a woman who's topless.
Super creepy.
This guy's pretty good. He should have been hired by the villains.
He should have been. He would have been perfect. So then this is where you see Mike Pence is a pretty evil guy. Because even just before this, he basically told Travis he wanted to kill him. Like, he basically said, I'm going to kill you. He had no interest in the money or the plan. But when he puts a metal wire noose around Sarah's neck and then pulls a grenade, hands it to her and says, hold that tight, sweetheart. Wow.
That's badass.
It was really for like Seagal villains in the final scenes. Because sometimes in the movies, there's like cheap, like no fights or anything. Like Sadler, he didn't really even fight. It really wasn't anything. But in this one,
yeah, but I feel like, okay, so if I'm a villain at this point, what's the point of, like, I would have, not that I'm a villain, not that I condone this, but I would think that he would kill her and then go after Seagal. Like, this is like, because like leaving her what's the point at that point? Like, I think he would just want to like dig into Seagal even more. Like, like I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, because he used her to lure him.
Right. And right.
And then once he got him, why just
piss Seagal off even more, and just like, and not to mention that might distract him a little bit. Like, he might be just because he's not paying attention now that he might have an advantage.
Yeah.
Or you could have made him just super pissed if you were like shot her, and then he would have been like super. Well, he does get kind of crazy in this scene, but we get the fact that he goes, put your gun down. And then when they get into the other train car, they both pull out knives. And I laughed for a second when they did basically like sword fight for like a second back and forth. I'm like, okay, this needs to just start punching each other. That's what we need to do.
How do you sword fight with like two short knives? I mean, he did rip his jacket. He sliced his jacket.
Pence didn't like that. Pence even checked it. He was like, hey, it's my leather jacket. Again, but same thing. We're wearing the sports coat. He's wearing a leather jacket. Like, you're about to get in it. Like, you're about to, get hand to hand. Wouldn't you want to be as comfortable as possible? Exactly.
Like, I would feel like wearing things on your arm like a jacket is going to be restrictive.
Yeah, you get some dexterity. I guess maybe a little slice of the knife, you can get out of it. The leather can take something from it. Maybe it's a super sports coat. Maybe there's like metal fibers in there.
Apparently he's got a lot of wires in there, but but you know what? You're hand-to-hand combat. Can you just grab the jacket, pull it over the head like a hockey thing? And again, it can be used against you.
That is true.
Go shirtless.
Yeah, go shirtless.
Arnold would.
Arnold would have. So then they start fighting in the kitchen. And for a few seconds, I really thought it was going to be more of like a little back and forth. But no, he did like a 15 hit combo.
It was
pretty much beat the shit out of the guy.
Seagal does a lot of things straight on camera, no special effects, and because he knows his stuff. Like he's like one of the real deals in Hollywood. But this scene, I feel like there was a lot added to it. To me, it kind of took a little away from the Seagal magic.
Yeah, no, I was just hoping for, again, we know he doesn't get harmed, nothing like that. But I was just hoping for, I don't know, just a little bit like back and forth, which I know isn't his bag. But even when the guy grabbed like the butcher knife, maybe like Seagal gets pinned down. A little slice.
Just like, again, a cut in the face or something. Like, I think every Stallone, Arnold, Van Damme, they all get like beat up at some point, like kind of cut. Something. I'm telling you, I don't think Seagal has ever gotten cut.
Yeah, Cobra. He's getting his ass kicked.
Yep, 100%. No.
Yeah.
And especially since they've built up Mike Pence as this badass, and he doesn't get anything. It's just super weird. Like
he wasn't as good as his demeanor was the whole movie.
Yeah, he was a big shit talker, and he couldn't back it up. But whatever,
he looked the part, but he couldn't back it up.
Wouldn't it be really funny? This would be like in a spoof movie of a Seagal movie, and they start fighting, and now you hear ding, and the microwave's done from earlier in the movie. There's a cake. There's a cake just waiting there.
Oh, you like a Pink Panther thing? They're like, all right, hold on, we got to take the cake out.
and they each have a slice. They do it, and then they tap the
Where
napkins, and then get
and then they go, where were we?
Exactly. But I do like his line. Nobody beats me in the kitchen.
That's
for you're talking about the main tough guy, the villain, and that's the line. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, if you're making that sound, how about the end of the movie that you have Travis, who's a pretty smart guy, right? He has to know how computers work and the fact that the computer has to be connected and working. The fact that he says there's no way to he goes, there's no way to stop you. He goes, there's no way to stop me. And Seagal pulls the gun up.
I mean, this is a computer that destroyed how many people in China when they blew it up? It destroyed 2 stealth bombers, but all you got to do is basically destroy the laptop and it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Like so you could be using it, but if you unplug it by accident, everything goes down.
I know.
It's just like I don't know. It was so stupid.
Again, you're not going to have a guy like that like do anything because he doesn't have any military background. So you weren't going to get anything like that. But it just could have been something else. But the fact that he just goes, it's a perfect Seagal kind of thing. Like, I don't understand technology. And he just shoots the guy through the computer. He falls off the train.
Yes.
And then this is where we get. So this is what's kind of confusing because we see Jonathan Davies, the guy from Beverly Hills Cop. He's watching this. So he dies, right?
Yeah, I thought so.
Because they show the train and they show him sort of like cower a little bit, or even he laughs about it or something. But this is cool. The miniatures in this scene was pretty cool because it looked legit, like a train was crumbling, and then you get Seagal running for again.
Hold on. I wrote this down. It was a slow jog. There wasn't a lot of intense. Like, I mean, what's about to happen with the trains. You should be running a little faster and harder than that. And why even bother running? You open every window and door. Why you just can't sneak out of one of them?
That's true. But no, the fact that he had to jump out like that. And then that's where I thought, because I forgot about that they got all the other people off. I'm like, where the hell is everybody? they're celebrating on this helicopter, and they're putting the gun to the helicopter pilot's head. And I'm like, why are they excited right now? Really?
Well, they I don't know. I think it would have been cool if Seagal died on the train as a hero.
Whoa.
And then she visits both her father and Seagal at the cemetery.
But then we almost forgot what
expecting some Superman abilities, like Seagal was going to channel his inner Superman and like stop the train or something. I was really expecting something like that. I don't know why. It just seemed like
you thought he was going to physically like hold the train back?
Yeah, I know.
The Rock did that in that skyscraper movie. He held the bridge up by himself.
Did he really? Oh man,
the bridge is like collapsing, and he's like holding it.
Oh my god!
But anyway, so then we kind of Andrew mentioned it. We were talking about it a little bit before, but we didn't spoil it. So Travis, spoil it. Well, I guess spoiler alert. I don't know, but it's like any horror movie. The bad guy, he wasn't dead, but how did he get there? If he got shot off the train, how did he get shot off the train? Get shot in the chest. Not even if he didn't get, even if he just got tossed off the train, how did he get that far back that quick?
And he doesn't look like a guy that's like in shape to handle that. Like, yeah. But I'm glad he did though, because how he eventually leaves the train, I do like.
I did like that. That was cool. He's holding on.
That was really cool.
The way the doors slammed, and it was just like Vienna sausages. That was all that was left, and he falls out into the flames.
Again, these doors, I would think they would be very hard to open. Wind, again, think about when they open an airplane or whatever. Like it's very difficult to move. Like try a car. It's not easy to open a door in a car when it's moving. Like a train. Like I don't know.
Sliding doors at my parents' house, that's harder than what it seems to get off a train, on a train, helicopter door. It shouldn't be that way. Those doors get stuck. You don't think these big metal doors? Oh,
and do you think you could shut it that hard? No way.
No. And then the movie ends. It's Sarah and Seagal looking at the tombstone, which the tombstone doesn't have a born date. It just has the day he died.
Well, they ran out. The budget ran out, so they didn't have enough time to fix it. So that's all they can do.
They're like, "Hey, Giuseppe, what do you want?" It's like they only have the money for the death date. It's like, "Oh, okay." And then the song that plays to end a movie like this did not fit for a cemetery.
No, and the movie just ended. Like I feel like it was like a very like you had the big climax in the movie. The guy's fingertips are still on the train. They quickly go to the cemetery. They're looking at the grave, the tombstone, and then it's over. Like it was like a quick done. Like I expected something. It was all over.
What'd you want?
Weird.
Did you want Travis still alive?
Well, where's Bobby?
Bobby said he said Uncle Casey. Can I?
But okay, but I don't know. Maybe I just feel like it just ended. Like, did they even talk at the cemetery?
Was there no dialogue? There was nothing.
Nothing. Right? That's what I mean. Like it was like you had this huge action scene, then you quickly pan to a cemetery with no dialogue, and the movie ends.
Yeah.
What was the last line uttered on the train?
Well, it was in the helicopter, and I think it's Bobby, and he says, "Oh, Uncle Casey." He comes at it like she says Uncle Casey, and then he repeats the same line, like, "When are we going home?" or something like that. So that was
trying.
Yeah. So that was Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. We'll go with our guests first. Andrew, would you tell people to watch it?
Yes, definitely. With a few beers or your other adult beverage of choice, definitely highly recommended. It's a 5.45 rating.
And on a scale of what? 5.49?
5.25.
It breaks the scale. Andrew, our action expert, thank you. Jamie, would you recommend this?
Absolutely. I mean, it's Steven Seagal. I mean, as many problems are with this movie, it's got its great action scenes with Seagal, and again, this is probably his last good movie. Well, I shouldn't say good movie. His last watchable movie. I mean, the first one is so much better than this, but you have to watch it. It's Seagal. It's his last watchable movie, and it's got a lot of good things about it. A lot of bad things, but a lot of good things.
Yeah, it was like this, then the Keenan Ivory Wayans one. That was like the last big budget studio ones.
Well, you had the Glimmer Man. That was Glimmer Man, right?
Glimmer Man was his last big studio one.
Yep,
and then there was all those other ones with like Michael Caine, the Fire Down Below.
Didn't he make Exit Wounds? Was that with DMX? Didn't he make one?
I don't know if they consider that like big budget. I'm sure the budget was big, but it wasn't like a main studio. That's an awesome movie. Tom Arnold's great in that movie.
Well, I think, but for like a solo, like I think at that point he was slowing down a little bit because you could I think in Glimmer Man he's definitely a little bigger, much bigger than he is here. Yeah. Like he started putting on weight, so I think this was like the last Seagal movie, and then like he needed that help of someone else like Keenan Ivory Wayans or DMX or whatever. Was he? He was also an executive decision, right? That he, with Kurt Russell.
It was like the shocker, yeah. That was like a huge deal in Hollywood that he was gone in 10 minutes.
Yeah. So yes, I would say you have to watch this movie. It's Seagal. Definitely watch it.
Agreed. Anything Seagal, pretty much. Like even some of his, like most of the newer ones, the straight to DVD or on demand. Most of them aren't that good. There's a couple of them that are actually decent. But yeah, you got it. And I how can I work the numbers? But Jamie, this is 2 movies in a row that you recommended. Dorm Days 2 and this. That's
Did I recommend Dorm Days 2?
You did.
Hold on, let me think. I got to think about that a second.
It's on record already.
Wait a second. Are you sure? Because
positive.
Why did I recommend it?
Well, what do you mean? Why not? There's a ton of boobs, smoking monkeys. There was Rusty.
I think I recommend it for Rusty,
who interacted with us on social media. He was on my side and he said it's monkey bones.
Well, I hope you're not comparing Dorm Days 2 to this. I mean, I would say, yeah, this movie is, again, I'm a Seagal fan. This is good. This is Steven Seagal. It's like Speed 2.
No. This is better than Speed 2. But anyway, so that was Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. Now we go back to a comedy. I think it's another 2. And this is going to be a fun one. Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay, which from what I remember is an hilarious movie. Some things might be uncomfortable now. Like Rob Corddry's character was really funny when I remember watching it. It might be different. I'm sure I'm still going to laugh. And we interviewed a man that he's more than a comedian. He's an actor, John Reap, who when Jamie got him, I'm like, dude, I love this guy in Last Comic Standing. He won the 5th season of that. Great stories from his friendship that he forged with Doug Benson, one of my favorite comedians. And he was that thing got a Hemi guy for all those Dodge commercials in the mid 2000s. He was great. And he has an amazing podcast that I'll put in the episode notes. It's called Country-ish Podcast. But yes, you have that to look forward to. Harold and Kumar.
I've never seen any of the Harold and Kumars.
Oh, dude, you'll love them. Great.
I mean, I might have seen the White Castle one or parts of it, but I mean, is it better than Dorm Days?
Yo, dude, this movie's great. Great cameos throughout it. Good cast. So you have that to look forward to. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.